Derrick Henry, oh my goodness. The king is not back. The king is here. He never left. The king is here. We're going to give you week 6 straight cash and just trash. And we're also going to talk about some drop candidates on the show today. Great show for you. Let's get straight to it.
Welcome to the FantasyLand Football Podcast.
Football, we're not very well and truly
That's right.
into the middle of the season now, Badaki.
Week 6.
This was a strange week. This was a very strange week, I think. I don't know about you. Did you feel the same way? It just felt weird to me.
Yeah. Every week right now in the NFL is weird in the current state of the whole world. But
yeah.
Look, the Giants got the W. That's all that matters. Jokes. Nah,
Big
but
old RIP to the Washington football team.
Trevor
if you don't
Lawrence.
know, Badaki, my name is Zach. I'm a co-host along with my other co-host here, Badaki. Badaki's a New York football Giant fan.
That's right.
And I am a Washington football team fan, if I can say. We don't have a name, but I support the team.
I like the name. They should keep it.
Riverboat Ron at the end of the game decided, hey, let's go for it all. I'm in this really strange place, if I'm honest with you, as a Washington fan, where I kind of know we're a really bad team.
Right.
So I actually, and it's so hard, it's so strange when you watch, but I'm actually wanting us from this point onwards to lose every game possible so we can get Trevor Lawrence or some Justin Fields, someone that we can be excited about as a franchise. Anyway, week 6, strange week. Not many, only 2 afternoon games. Felt really weird. Not many running backs popped off and had crazy games. Overall, a very, very interesting week.
Yeah.
It is Monday, the 19th of October. Thank you so much for joining us on the FantasyLand Football Podcast. Hey, we announced the winner of the signed OBJ jersey today. A big shout out to Frankie Orlando from Missouri. It was awesome to chat to you in the DMs. Frankie Orlando, that just sounds like a movie star. Or Italian, yeah, an Italian movie star. Big shout out to Frankie. Awesome to talk to you, man. I actually love being able to DM people and just being like, hey, guess what? You won. The reaction is always priceless.
Yeah.
But we were partnered with RSA on that giveaway. We are partnering with RSA again. Another giveaway coming next week. We are super pumped about it. Don't want to give away any spoilers, but I think everyone roots for this particular player.
Yeah.
Make sure you are
somebody great.
Yeah. Oh, yes, we will be. Actually, I'll give a little hint. We will be talking about him on the show. I don't know who it is, but we will be talking about him on the show.
He's probably on the cash list, just FYI.
Yeah. We will announce that next week. Hey, make sure you don't miss that giveaway, though. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram at FantasyLand Football. We do monthly giveaways. Don't miss out on those. You can follow us on Twitter at FantasyLand_FB. You can watch the podcast on YouTube and see our faces. Or you can listen on any podcast platform in the world. Lots of things to get covered here from week 6. So let's get into some news.
What is going on here?
Okay, need to know news. What is going on around the NFL currently from today? Not as many injuries as we are accustomed to, Badaki, on Need to Know News, which I guess is a good thing.
No, it's definitely a good thing. I'm looking at this list here right now, and it's not a terrible list. It's not. I don't know. It's not ACLs confirmed. Nothing crazy that will destroy your fantasy team at all, or just these players as individuals. Just a lot of high ankle sprains, a lot of ankle injuries, a lot of MRIs coming in the coming days for these guys.
Yeah, let's talk Jonnu Smith. I literally just traded for this guy 2 days ago.
Literally.
And I think I gave up Hayden Hurst. And I trade for the guy. Gets an ankle injury. Obviously, hope you recover soon, Jonnu. Mark Ingram also left the game with an ankle injury. We're going to talk about him a little bit later on the show.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders and Zach Ertz, the double duo. I don't know what I was going to say there.
Double something. Literally no more weapons.
Dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Both having MRIs Monday for injuries. We will find out how serious they may be. Hopefully they are not serious.
They were a little concerned.
We were talking, it is a short week.
Yeah, they were a little concerned about Miles Sanders' ankle, and Adam Schefter put out a tweet. I think it was Adam Schefter, one of the Philadelphia beat writers, was talking about how they were concerned about Miles Sanders. You know, it could be serious. So we don't know what that means. Yeah. And there wasn't really an update on Zach Ertz. But like you said, it is a short week. They play my Giants on Thursday night. So hopefully...
My goodness. Bad to worse for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Honestly. So we'll see what happens.
From Sunday Night Football, Raheem Mostert.
Again.
You just got him back, and now he's got an ankle injury again. We don't know how serious this is, but regardless, owning Raheem Mostert is not a very fun thing to be a part of right now, is it?
No, it's definitely frustrating. Look, he came back. He was looking great. Raheem's a really good running back. Can I just say that?
Yeah.
The 49ers are a really good run football team as a whole. So whoever is, really, it's Jerick McKinnon. Now he's going to be stepping up into this role, however long this is going to last for. We'll see.
You know what I was going to say, actually, on these two injuries, specifically Miles Sanders and Raheem Mostert. Early waiver wire additions to know.
Yep.
Obviously, Jerick McKinnon, if someone dropped him in your league, didn't have a big game last night, but if Raheem was to miss time, I assume he would probably be really heavily involved. Probably Tevin Coleman as well.
Yes.
And then in Philadelphia, who are we picking up in Philadelphia?
Boston Scott, that's the guy. That's the next guy up, really.
Yep.
Really the only running back that they have. I can't think of anyone else on the top of my head or who's on that depth chart, that roster.
I'm going to say something about it, though. To be very clear, I don't think he should be very high on your waiver wire additions. No. He shouldn't be high on the priority. This is a bad team, and they played better this week against the Ravens, almost actually had the comeback, but they're getting worse from these injuries. Mm-hmm. Anyway, hey, we're going to get into straight cash and just trash from week 6. But we want to tell you a little bit about RSA. You probably know about RSA, right? They are the go-to for all things sports memorabilia. But did you know that most signed sports memorabilia companies don't actually work directly with the athletes?
Nope.
They use third-party companies, but not RSA.
Wow.
RSA makes deals directly with the athletes in bulk, so you can always get the best deals in the industry. RSA is also the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor and promises a money-back guarantee on all products. So head to shoprsa.com for all your signed sports memorabilia needs. And I just want to say, RSA has been so sick to work with, guys, for real. They've been a really, really great partner for us, providing the jerseys. And if you want some signed sports memorabilia, this is where we would honestly tell you to go. We have people message us every once in a while saying, hey, where do I go for this? Hopefully, shoprsa.com. Yeah.
No, it's awesome. I think I think we were talking about having a studio in the future. RSA is obviously going to be the guy that's going to deck us all out. Hopefully, if everything goes well with the whole our studio space, it'll be cool.
Yeah, 100%. Let's get into straight cash and just trash. We're going to start off with a little bit of cash.
If you don't write checks, how do you pay these guys?
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash. Let's talk about it. Each week, we give you our straight cash and just trash performances of the week. Week 6 brought a lot of cash. So let's break it down. Starting off with quarterbacks. To be very clear, I don't know why I say that all the time. To be very clear.
You just have to be clear. You have to break it down. We don't want any confusion here.
That's right. We play in a 6-point pass touchdown league. We don't play none of that 4-point nonsense. Obviously, we love you if you do. But a touchdown is 6 points. Doesn't matter where it comes from. So let's talk about cash quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson.
Wow.
My goodness. Had a great game, didn't he?
Yeah, he went off against the Titans, which was, I think everyone expected. I don't think everyone expected how the game turned out. You know, they went into overtime. You know, the first possession for the Titans, they won the coin flip. They got the W. But 32 points for Deshaun Watson, crazy.
32 points is a very great stat line. Big shout out to Deshaun for putting that stat line up against me. I feel like I'm the guy in the league where players aren't doing well and then they face me and they're like, now's the time to pop off. It was Joe Mixon last week or 2 weeks ago, 45 points. George Kittle, 40 points. This week, Deshaun. I am making a lot of excuses, but it is what it is. Am I right?
It is what it is. Next quarterback here, Matt Ryan. Matty Ice. He's back. He is cold. Ooh. He has ice in his veins.
Yeah.
31 fantasy points.
Isn't it funny how we talk about ice and we're like, oh, dude, he's ice cold. Like, he's not playing well.
Like,
and then when he goes off, it's like, man, oh my God, he's got ice in his veins. It's like, which way are we trying to go here? Is he on fire or NBA Jam rule? I don't know.
Something. Look, Matt Ryan is back. Obviously, he played the Vikings defense, which is currently terrible.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns, 31 points. I mean, Matty Ice is back. Julio's back. Dan Quinn's out. That's what we want.
Yeah. No, it's been looking very good for Atlanta. Their tweet was hilarious.
What was the tweet?
Had a tweet about them winning. I don't know if you saw it, and it was a meme from The Office. Kevin Malone when he's just feels really good to win one.
That's funny.
But yeah, you know what? Both of these quarterbacks.
Straight cash, homie.
Let's talk about running backs.
The King
Henry.
Wow, the King
on the throne. Oh my gosh, this stat line is insane. So bear with us. 22 carries for 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, 52 receiving yards, and a 40 bomb. Now, we do all of these stats in PPR, points in PPR. Oh my gosh. If you face Derrick Henry this week, just a big GG's, isn't it?
It is just a big GG's. I mean, the man ran, he broke for a 93, 94-yard run. It was ridiculous. And
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is the Henry that you like.
Oh my gosh.
This is the Henry that you want on your team. This is the King. I don't know. I really don't know how to describe it. Like, if you watched the game, you saw what he did. That's point blank, period.
For sure. And I think, obviously, playing against Houston's run defense helped, but you have to respect Derrick Henry. DeAndre Swift wants some respect as well. Finishes with 2 receiving touchdowns, over 100 yards on the ground against Jacksonville. Surprise. 27 fantasy points. DeAndre Swift, can you start him weekly or no?
No. I don't think you can start him weekly. I think he's a great flex option. He's a great bye-week option. I know Jordan Burroughs on our team or in our league started DeAndre Swift because of all the Melvin situation, and Melvin was out. So that was a good plug-in for him. I don't think you can start him every week. I think you kind of see what happens. Really, Adrian Peterson is the lead back there, but DeAndre Swift gets the receptions and
for sure. Those 2 touchdowns really.
Ronald Jones.
Rojo.
Who would have thought? 113 yards, 23 carries. Look, to be fair, once again, Leonard Fournette is out, but 26 points, 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. You're kidding. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this. The outcome of this game.
Yeah, no.
The way,
and I think that does have a big part to play in it, doesn't it? Because they were so strange how quickly it fell apart for the Packers. They were up by 10 points, and then I think within a couple minutes they were down by 4 because of the turnovers and the defensive touchdown. I think part of this performance, and again, people probably think I'm a Ronald Jones hater, but I'm not. Maybe they think we both are.
Right.
But we're not. Ronald Jones is talented. But you have to keep in mind that Fournette was out with a combination of the game script. They were up most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, I think this might be Ronald Jones' best game of the year. Is that harsh to say?
No, it's definitely not harsh to say. I think because they're going against this Packers defense, which isn't great against the run at all.
Yeah.
Like in general, I think they give up they're probably in the top 10 of giving up the most fantasy points to running backs. So it's kind of expected that a running back that's going against the Packers should be going off right now. But it's really hard to say. It's hard to say. We need to have a full, at least 2 consecutive games with when Leonard Fournette is healthy, with Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette in at the same time, because we need that's the real stats.
For sure. Let's talk about wide receivers, Badaki.
We got a lot of JJs actually.
A lot of JJs. I was just about to say that.
Justin Jefferson went off. 116 yards, 9 receptions, 2 touchdowns, 39 fantasy points, just shy of 40, the 40 bomb. I mean, you went off. He is, it could be.
Justin Jefferson.
Oh my God, he on X Games mode.
Genuinely. This, you have to start him weekly now, right?
100%. There's no way you're not starting this guy. He has. This is what we said in the last podcast. We like to see consistency, and Justin Jefferson has shown that consistency. Even though I think last week he probably had a 7-8 point game or 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really consistent, I guess, if you were to put it in that way. But he is breaking off when he plays. He breaks off. He takes off.
And
he's doing his
thing. I don't
thing.
know if you saw the route he ran on that last touchdown. Completely faked the guy out. The guy had no idea where he went. Justin Jefferson, I've said it before, is already the most talented wide receiver in Minnesota. However, we did say one thing I wanted to discuss, because you're probably listening and maybe you have Justin Jefferson. Maybe you didn't start him. There's a very real possibility that a lot of people did not start JJ after a very frustrating week last week. That's got to hurt.
Yeah, definitely.
And
definitely.
If you're in that place, we just want to, hey, it's all right.
We're with you.
Don't lose hope. Yeah, we are with you. Another JJ. No one calls him that, but Julio Jones.
Julito going off. He's back.
Julio's back. He is back. He looked extremely healthy. I don't know if you saw that video after the game. He was pretending to have an injury as he was walking off the field with reporters. He was pretending to limp. And I don't own him, but if I was a fantasy owner, I would be like, I don't really like that joke, man.
That's not funny.
Yeah, he's got 2 touchdowns on the day, over 130 yards through the air, 33.5 fantasy points. Julio Jones went off today.
Will Fuller, 6 receptions, 6 receptions, 123 yards, a touchdown, 24 points. Look, he's clearly the number 1 receiver there. He's a must start every week. Will Fuller he did great. You can't deny that. And on the other side of the ball there, AJ Brown, my boy. 5 receptions, 56 yards, 2 touchdowns, that last minute clutch catch.
That's the scary part of the stat line, because it very easily could have been 5 receptions for 50 yards and no touchdowns. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously any game could have gone anywhere, but you very easily could have seen a not as productive game. That's what I worry about every receiving option in Tennessee. Even receiving Jonnu Smith in a trade last week, AJ Brown, a lot of these players are very touchdown dependent because of the way the offense runs. Obviously, both of these players, we have to give props where props is due. So
straight cash, homie.
But
that's right.
Let's talk the tight end position.
Watch out!
Anthony Fersker. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. 8 receptions on 9 targets, 113 yards, a touchdown, and 25 fantasy points. Oh my goodness, this hurts if you own Jonnu Smith, because that should have been Jonnu. But he balled out.
He balled out. I mean, what can you say? Let me ask you this: if Jonu's out a couple of weeks, are you picking him up? Is this a guy that you can plug in with confidence every week now? If Jonu's out for what, let's say minimum 3 weeks, if he goes on IR.
I don't think so.
No,
and I don't think that Jonu will be out that long. But even if he was, I don't think this is a plug and play guy. I think this defense is very, very bad against tight ends, and it showed. Could be wrong, but he's not someone I would be personally picking up.
Right.
Unless I'm in a desperation situation. Let's talk George Kittle. Sunday Night Football, just under 24 fantasy points. If you held off during his injury and you kept him, you are a very, very happy owner now. And Trey Burton, strangely, not continually, but the last couple of weeks, very fantasy relevant. Had 2 touchdowns on the day, I'm pretty sure. One, he actually ran in, strangely enough, finishing with just under 22 fantasy points.
I forgot about that.
You have to put some respect on his name. Obviously, Mo Alley Cox filled that role for a little bit, but now it looks like Trey Burton's a guy there.
For sure. Phillip Rivers loves his tight ends. We know that. Antonio Gates, Hunter Henry, these were the guys for Phillip Rivers. Trey Burton is the guy. Mo Alley Cox, I mean, he was a good, like you said, fill-in. Trey is just the more talented tight end when it comes down to it.
For sure. We have a bonus cash performance this week. The Bucs defense with over 20 fantasy points. If you started the Bucs, a big shout out to you, because a lot of people did not think that the Bucs defense would do this against Aaron Rodgers.
No.
But Aaron Rodgers obviously didn't have the best game. We'll talk about that. Here's some honorable mentions for our cash list. Myles Gaskin, and this is a strange one because he only had 16 points, but I want to highlight him quickly because he actually was well over 100 all-purpose yards, and if he had a touchdown, that stat line would look a lot better. Myles Gaskin, getting the touches. I think you can probably start him consistently from now on.
You sure, though? The only reason why I'm questioning this is because they did play the Jets.
They did, but they also played the 49ers last week, which were hurt, but is still a good defense. I am not starting him over players in the top 12, top 18, but he's a player that you can flex, especially during these bye weeks that are about to come up.
For sure, absolutely. Great flex play, I think.
Yeah, let's talk about Brandon Cooks.
Wow.
Hopefully you picked him up because it looks like ever since they fired Bill O'Brien, rest in peace, they kind of have figured out how to play football again. Yeah. Big shout out to Brandon Cooks. Travis Fulgham, just under 20 fantasy points against a very good Ravens defense. And we got 2 tight ends to finish off the honorable mentions here, Badaki.
Yeah, Darren Fells went off 20 fantasy points, just over 80 yards, which is great. I mean, obviously. And then your boy Gronk with Tom is back.
Oh,
I guess you could say.
Gronkowski.
He's trying to become relevant somehow. 18 points and a touchdown. I mean, he did great. What is, he did great. The duo.
He did great. I don't think you can expect that to continue, but again, could be wrong. Do you think that's going to continue?
Oh, no way.
Okay.
I don't. One I do think could continue is Darren Fells.
Okay. Yeah. Will be interesting to see. Every time we bring you straight cash, we also bring you just trash. So let's talk about trash.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
He needs some milk.
You know what I just thought of? It's so random. It's actually so random, but I would really love a milk company to sponsor us for this segment.
That's actually not bad.
That would just be really cool.
Some chocolate milk? I don't know. I can't think of a brand.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's mostly just generic milk, but he needs some milk. Let's talk about it. Quarterbacks who were trash this week.
Oh, my goodness.
If you started Aaron Rodgers this week, oh, my gosh. One soundbite to describe Aaron Rodgers' week.
That's pitiful. I mean, it's absolutely pitiful to perform like that. We gave him the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked.
Aaron Rodgers.
They did actually give the Bucs the game in that first half after those turnovers. Finishes with just 3.8 fantasy points. This is a sore topic for a lot of people.
No, for sure. Look, it's definitely surprising. I thought they didn't look very prepared. I guess that's the best way I can phrase it. What I saw, they came off a bye week. I felt like they had more than enough time to kind of study Tom and his team and go to Tampa and at least put on a show at least.
Yeah.
But I guess that just wasn't the case. But what happens is that when one of these quarterbacks lose, they always go off the next game.
Yeah, typically
So,
you're right.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Big Ben. He had a decent football game. Didn't have any turnovers. Led his team really well. But from a fantasy perspective, you were disappointed with just under 13 fantasy points. But let's talk about potentially the biggest smash start. You have to start this guy. He is going against the Atlanta defense. He's filling the Dalvin Cook role. He might be as good as Dalvin Cook. We haven't said that, by the way, but that's just what you've probably heard around the block.
Nope.
Alexander Madison.
He needs some milk.
Did not have a very good game.
No, he did not.
Finishes with just 4 fantasy points. What happened here, Badaki?
They were down. They went down very early. They struggled in the first quarter, in the first half. They really need to figure it out. Like, this offense is ran through Dalvin Cook, and Alexander Madison is not Dalvin Cook. Point blank, period.
Yeah, I think that's what we figured out this week.
Yeah. There's no
Obviously,
way.
game script played a big part, right?
Oh, 100%. Game script, definitely. But I think they tried to come out run heavy, and then the Falcons stopped them. But look, oh well. Kareem Hunt, also trash running back of the week. Obviously he played against the Steelers. It was a tough matchup. But only 7 points. That's not something that you were expecting from him. Obviously, with this run-first team.
Man, that Steelers team on defense is elite, and I know that Baltimore is a good defense. I know there's a couple other good defenses in the league. Colts probably got found out a little bit this week, but that Steelers defense is really good, to the point where I genuinely believe they have a shot at making it very far into the playoffs, because Big Ben doesn't actually have to carry this team. No. Look at his game this week. Anyway, we're getting very off topic. But let's talk about the Browns quickly. The Browns. LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Well, let's talk about the Browns, because they looked terrible. What was it? 38-7?
Yeah, it was terrible. Nobody on their offense performed. Baker Mayfield was sat in the middle of the third. That's how bad it was, that they were just like, you know what, we'll throw in number 2. Yeah. That's what it was. Like, nothing. It was really bad.
Yeah, you're right. It was a hard game to watch if you were a Browns fan, so I'm sorry if you are. Let's talk about wide receivers, though, okay? Juju, Smith, Schuster.
Classic.
2 receptions, 6 total yards, 2.6 fantasy points.
A lot of 2s. So yeah. I'm reading it here. Our next guy is Mike Evans. Only 2 points as well. Yep. My goodness, that's terrible. Too. 1 reception. That's even worse than Juju.
Both of these guys here were drafted quite high, and I think Mike Evans has somewhat lived up to the hype, I guess. He was drafted around D-Hop, and that hurts to know. Excuse me. But Juju, lots of draft stock was put into Juju this year in fantasy.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. You have got to be disappointed if you drafted him.
Yeah. I've said it before, and I've just never seen the value in Juju. I don't see Juju as a number 1 fantasy receiver. For me, I've never had that gut feeling. Was like, you know what, I need to take Juju in the second, in the third. You know, there was no way I could do that. I don't know why people liked it. I don't know. I don't think he was that guy.
No, he wasn't. And Cooper Kupp was not that guy either, was he?
No, Cooper
3
Kupp.
receptions for 11 yards, but 9 targets. We were watching this game together. He dropped so many passes.
He dropped a touchdown. Look, it was just a bad day for Coop. That's a sum. That's a sum. If you had him, he let you down. If you have him, it's okay because he had 9 targets. If you had him, it's okay because essentially he would have had a touchdown. And look, it was just an off day for him. Don't panic.
Yeah, the body of work of his whole career, he's still a very, very talented wide receiver who will come back from this.
Mm-hmm.
OBJ, 4.5 fantasy points, not the performance you were hoping for, but you could say that about the entire Browns team.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mike Gesicki. Mike is Gesicki, maybe?
Mike is Goose Sicky? Is that what you just said?
That is a reach. No. But he is our Goose of the Week. Dropped a big old egg. I will have the Goose Egg special if you started Mike Gesicki and that great matchup. I just wanted to set the mood for you now to really feel the feels that you deserve as a fantasy owner. So I'm going to go ahead and just let you mourn in a time that could potentially be hard for you. But what we can promise you is the entire tight end position is just very hard.
Terrible.
Very hard. So do not fear. You are not alone. Mike Gesicki, 0 points on the week. The big old goose. And Mark Andrews.
Another week on the trash.
Elite Mark Andrews, 2 weeks on the trash. What the heck? How's this happen?
What the heck? Look. Okay. This is a little bit of a rant. I personally think that...
Oh, I know where this is going.
I personally think that the Baltimore Ravens, they are a talented team. Lamar is talented. Their offense, their defense is very talented. I don't think that they are the team that everyone thinks they are. I think they have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. Obviously, I think they do have probably one of the top 5 easiest schedules in the NFL. Their first 5 games have been against teams that are under 500, besides Kansas City, which is the only team they played that was an elite team, top playoff contender. Yeah, I would like to see later on down the road how this team will go up against a team that is
really good teams.
Yeah, really good teams. They once again, like the Steelers, they play the Steelers twice that they haven't played yet. So I would love to see how that plans out. I think the Browns could give them a shot as well. These are obviously those are divisional games.
It's really strange watching the Ravens play.
Very, very.
Last year was electric, and as Lamar Jackson is always going to be electric, this year it's a little bit frustrating sometimes to watch because it just doesn't always go your way, does it? But
no.
We have one honorable mention for trash this week, and we just want to explain it because you probably understand if you own him. But Devontae Adams, Detective Adams, as Badaki loves to say, only 12 points. Coming back off the injury, this is an elite wide receiver, the second overall wide receiver taken in many drafts. He had 6 receptions on 10 targets for 61 yards, so the targets were there. But let's talk about Devontae. This is just a bad game for the Packers, right?
Yeah, look, I think overall, like you said, it was a bad game. I think what was he going against? Was it Devontae White? I'm pretty sure he was going against. Is that the correct?
I don't think so. I don't remember what the name of that quarterback
he was. Well,
is,
look, I'll tell you, he was going against an elite corner, and I think that what's really put it. Look, like I said earlier, I think this Bucs defense is a really good defense. They have really good pieces. Devontae Adams was their only weapon. You eliminate Devontae, you eliminate Aaron. That's how I see it. So that's what they did. 12 points is a huge hit for your fantasy team if you have Devontae Adams, I think.
Totally. And a lot of people would have been trading for him because of the injury and the buy low status potentially. Very disappointing if you had hung on to him. But there will be better days ahead. We've got another surprise doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Oh, let's talk about it.
Are you ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football?
Monday Night Football Madness, the surprise doubleheader.
Wow.
Are you liking these doubleheaders, by the way?
I'm loving these doubleheaders. I don't know if I was talking to you. I don't know who I was talking to, but I was like, we can actually have a game every single day of the week if the NFL really allowed it to.
Yeah.
I mean, I like having all the games on Sunday, but imagine you can have a game every night. Maybe 2 games every night.
Yeah, like the NBA, kind of.
Yeah, like the NBA. But the thing is, I feel like it can get skewed in the NFL, you know? Like, I feel like that will give it more of a reason to throw games a little bit. You know what?
When you think about it, though, this is why we don't. This is why we are not in charge of the scheduling. It would be a nightmare for scheduling. Imagine someone played on Monday and they playing someone who plays on Friday, and they're like, okay, how do we figure this out? So we probably just figured out why they don't do that. Yeah. But the 4-1 Chiefs at the 4-1 Bills, 2 teams who have been very good. Obviously, we know the Chiefs, okay?
Yes.
We know how elite the Chiefs are with Patty, with the combination now of CEH. Lev Bell will not be playing today or tomorrow or... No, today. Today's Monday, sorry. I wasn't sure if this was on Tuesday, but yes, it is Monday Night Football. We know that this offense is elite, okay? Now, the question is, the Bills are very much in a are we legit or not conversation right now. Right? Yeah. 4-1. I want to talk about Josh Allen. And I have maybe a hot take. Maybe it's not a hot take at all. I don't know. And maybe it's not a take at all. Maybe it's just a conversation. But I could be wrong. But I think the second half of Josh Allen's season will be significantly worse than the first half. And the reason I want to say that is because I just think they haven't played many good teams yet. I know we've talked about this before. And I am not a hater of Josh Allen. I love the talent, but when they actually go up against an elite team who can put points up against them, there's a different pressure on Josh Allen. And I don't know that he's been in a place yet where he can actually handle that pressure. Bunch of Bills fans, Josh Allen owners are probably screaming at their phones right now or however they're watching this. I could be wrong. I just genuinely think that Josh Allen the rest of the year is not a top 5 quarterback from this point onwards.
From this point on, I think he still has the potential to become to still stay in the top 5 quarterback just because in the division he is in. I know, totally. I'm pretty sure he played the Jets and Miami once already, so he has to play them again. Both of those teams twice again. Then he has to play New England twice, which they're not the same team that obviously with Tom. So I think there are chances for them to be that team, and for Josh Allen to be that quarterback is there's a lot of potential. But look, it's a tough matchup. Obviously they have KC this week. This is another good test. I think the Rams game with Josh Allen, that was a big test for us. He proved it. Let's see the next tier now. This is one step up. This is really 2 steps up. This is the team.
You're right. This is going to be a very, very interesting game because Kansas City's secondary is really great. So it will actually be very interesting to see. I'm saying other than the Jets, Seattle, Arizona, the schedule is not great the rest of the year, especially if you're going to play Josh Allen in the playoffs. His playoff schedule is Pittsburgh, Denver, which isn't a terrible defense, and New England. So all that to say, I hope Josh Allen is the same guy, but it's just something to see in this game, something to watch. This is a real test to see, is he actually that elite quarterback?
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs, however, looks to be worth every draft pick they gave up for him. He's been elite. When it comes to route running, top 5 regardless of who you're talking about in this league right now.
Yeah.
He's been great.
He has been great. The same feelings that you have about Josh Allen is the same feelings that I have about Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
He hasn't gone against top receivers. The only one I can think of that was a top one. Jalen Ramsey and I think what's his name? Bird on the Titans. I forgot his first name.
Right.
On the like those are the 2 top ones. I'm pretty sure he's obviously with KC. You know, like this is going to be another great matchup for him to see if it can be consistent. I think if he can prove that he can get a touchdown and maybe like 80 yards in this game, I'm all in on Stephon Diggs. And it sounds crazy because Stephon Diggs proving himself. He is having double-digit games, over 50 yards a game, over 6, 7, 8 targets a game. Like these are consistent stats.
He's definitely putting up elite numbers.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I just had a thought because we've talked about Juju today. Man, the difference in Juju and Diggs' draft position this year. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
If you took Juju and then a couple rounds later Diggs went, that's really got to hurt. I'm sorry if that's you. Let's talk about our second Monday Night Football matchup. The 3-2 Cardinals at the 2-3 Cowboys. Very interesting game because obviously the Cowboys are going to look completely different, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's no Dak Prescott. How will the offense look? What will the schemes, will they change? Or are they going to just try and plug and play Andy Dalton, the red rifle? What do you think?
I think they'll plug and play. I think Andy Dalton could be still an elite quarterback in this league. He has ran an offense himself. He has been in this situation. He has been in the playoffs. He's done everything that a quarterback needs to do. He has all the accolades. Yeah. Now this is his time to prove that he can just adapt to a system, which I think he can. I think he has that. I think obviously they're going to mold it a little bit, but this is still going to be the Cowboys style of play.
Yeah.
They're going to throw the ball, run the ball. It's classic.
One thing we've talked about a lot since Dak went down is what will this wide receiver core now look like when it comes to fantasy relevance? Because it's just how it goes. Quarterbacks have connections with different guys. And I think Amari's safe, but I think Lamb and Gallup, their value is going to be... Actually, to be honest, all 3 of these guys, their value is going to change drastically these next 3 or 4 weeks. Do you think...
I think my thought process is that Andy Dalton has never had weapons like this. He's only has had AJ. Mm-hmm. Though AJ and Tyler Eifert when he was in his prime, I guess you can say, but it's nowhere near
Mohamed Sanu, but that's not really the same talent wise as a Gallup and a Lamb.
Yeah, so like he hasn't had such elite weapons like this, so I think that he can come into this offense. He's gonna look around. He's like, I can do this now. I have talented people all around me. I have the best back behind me. This is gonna be Andy Dalton can be somebody that could really have a playoff, push for this Dallas Cowboy team, I think.
So for the NFC East, you think the Cowboys could be the favorites?
Unfortunately, yes. I don't.
They should be the favorites, though, to be honest.
They are,
even with Andy Dalton.
They definitely are the favorites.
They've got way too much talent on that offense.
I think that this has given them a better chance now that Dak Prescott is out, personally.
You think better than Dak?
No, I don't think he's better. I think that the chances with Andy Dalton could be better because now defenses can't game plan around Andy Dalton. Do you get what I'm saying? Like Dak Prescott has a certain style of football.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's going to make this team better. I think that it's going to be a lot harder to game plan with him now. Against him.
Will be interesting to see. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? Let's talk about the Cardinals.
Wow.
You're starting Kyler. You're starting DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is probably the best wide receiver in the league, talent-wise. Do we agree?
Yes.
Most talented wide receiver in the league? Okay. So let's discuss this running back situation. Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds. I genuinely think this question is not crazy. Would you rather have Kenyon Drake or Chase Edmonds for the rest of the season? If you own Drake, you know that's not a crazy question at all because you have watched Chase Edmonds put up numbers in a very efficient way that Drake has not had with the volume. So
no, you're right. I think that this is the game that's going to determine it. If you have Drake, you're hoping that Drake is going to be this guy that where you drafted him at. You know, people took him end of the first, early second. You need to know that Drake could be losing, either has lost his job, in the process of losing his job, or he's done. You know, this is the game. He's going to be going against this Cowboys defense that, like, the run defense is decent, but this is also a good opportunity because the pass defense for the Cowboys is terrible. So, like, if they can throw it in the backfield, you know, do a screen, like, this can be the opportunity for Drake. But Edmonds has been showing out, and he's been taking his job and taking snaps slowly. So,
definitely. Who wins this game?
I don't want to say.
Sounds like potentially the hardest question I've ever asked you.
I'll probably have to say the Cowboys.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean Cardinals, but I feel like that's a cop out. I just genuinely think the Cardinals are gonna win the game. So that would be interesting to see. And either way, I'm hyped for another doubleheader.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
Stop! I could have dropped my croissant.
2 thoughts for 2 drops. We're going to give you 2 players that we've been thinking about dropping in different leagues. And we're going to tell you why. And then we're going to tell you, are we comfortable dropping them? 2 thoughts for 2 drops. So let's start with Mark Ingram. Oh my gosh. We talked about on the last episode how terrible this Ravens backfield has been in fantasy.
Yeah.
So much hope, so much potential to begin the year, but it's genuinely been terrible to own anyone in this backfield. Now, Mark Ingram comes off a 2-point day, and he's got an injury. Let's talk about it. Can you drop Mark Ingram?
I think that you can't. And let me tell you why. I don't think you can because he's still the number 1. When he comes back, he's still going to get those touches, I think. 2, the only way he loses these touches is if Dobbins goes off in these next 2 games or this next game, because we're not sure how long Mark is going to be out with his injury. So if he's out, let's say a week or 2, and then Dobbins show out, like, it's clearly Dobbins is the guy. It's clearly Dobbins can have that opportunity and is a better back than Mark Ingram. I think you have to hold him because he could be the handcuff to the handcuff.
Yeah.
You know, once it flips.
I get where you're coming from. It's really difficult to hang on to Mark Ingram. I just did the math. Quick maths. In 6 games, he's averaging 37.5 yards on the ground. 37.5 yards on the ground. That's shocking.
Yeah,
shocking.
It is shocking. And it was
let me ask you. This is what people are going to be asking. Even if he comes back, what's the value in having Mark Ingram?
It's not. There's no value at all. I mean, they are supposed to be a run. I think this is the shocking thing. They're supposed to be a run first team, and their running backs are terrible.
Yeah.
You know, we were joking about it in the group chat with the league chat. Like Joshua Kelly right now has more yards than Mark Ingram, and he's a number 2 running back.
Yeah.
And it sounds dumb and it sounds crazy to compare that, but like these are the stats that we have. These are the stats that like we're going off of.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'd rather have Joshua Kelly over Mark Ingram the rest of the year. Right now,
that's
who knows?
Interesting because I feel personally, yeah, you could be right. But the fact that we're having that conversation is insane.
Exactly. So,
and I just want to make sure my thoughts are clear. I would not drop Mark Ingram, but the conversation is there. If you're in an 8-team league, Mark Ingram needs to be nowhere near your roster. If you're in a 10-team league,
sure.
Probably don't need Mark Ingram. But if you are in a 12-team league, you probably need to hold on to him because depth is so hard to find this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about our second drop candidate here, Badaki.
Jerry Jeudy.
It's hard to say. I could tell it was really hard for you to say that
Yeah,
one.
look, I still believe in Jerry. So, look, I've considered this because I started him this week. He had 5 points. Once again, he played the New England Patriots, which was interesting because Stephon Gilmore was in rotation. He was going left and right. He was everywhere. He was with Tim Patrick. He was with Jerry. I had to rewatch the game to kind of get a little bit more detail to see, was it Stephon Gilmore that kind of, drew Jeudy away from his targets, or was Drew Luck not looking at him at all?
Yeah.
Like there's not many targets, like we said. Only 2 catches for 32 yards this week. It's pretty sad.
Yeah. The thing is, it was Drew Lock's first game back. Game script was in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
But it honestly is very hard to hold on to Jerry Jeudy right now, averaging just under 10 points a game. You really see the talent, but the question is, like we asked about Derek Carr early in the year with Henry Huggs, as we now call him.
Henry Huggs.
Can Drew Lock be good enough to make Jerry Jeudy fantasy relevant? And that's the question we really have to ask ourselves now. I think we both agree that you probably can't drop Jerry. But if I was going to drop, let's say I had both of these guys on my team and I had to choose one to drop. Without hesitation, I'm probably choosing Mark Ingram.
Yes, same.
Okay,
Same.
so we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
We are going to release a who are you thinking about dropping post on Instagram this week. Make sure you are holding close to our IG so we can help you. But who are you thinking about dropping? Why don't you let us know either in these comments or send us a DM or whatever that might look like.
YouTube.
But hey, yeah, YouTube. We actually love to talk to people on YouTube. We got a great episode coming up in just 2 days' time. We're going to give you an update on our fantasy football league, the Fellowship of the Fantasy Ring. It's been far too long since we've given you an update on those boys. If you actually haven't had a chance to get to know the guys in our fantasy football league, on our Instagram, at FantasyLand Football, you'll be able to find a little highlight that says owners, and you'll be able to see every single guy there. We break down their profiles. Really, really funny guys. We actually have found a lot of people enjoy following our fantasy football league, and especially the trades. Oh, there's always great content in those trades.
Right. Crazy.
Yeah. We are going to give you an update on that league, and we're also going to give you some trade targets as well as Thursday night football matchups. P.S. Big announcement coming this week for our giveaway.
Oh, boy.
Massive. We talked about this guy today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. You just have to pick and choose who it is or maybe who you really want it to be. But we could probably narrow it down. He was on the cash list.
I'm going to do something right now, Badaki.
Oh.
If you can guess who the next giveaway is, I'm going to give you an extra 15 bonus entries.
Oh.
If you can comment on
the YouTube page.
Yeah, go to our YouTube page and comment who you think the next giveaway is going to be. We will give you 15 bonus points.
Say no more.
Before the giveaway even happens, okay? But make sure you follow us on Instagram so you don't miss any giveaways. On Twitter at FantasyLand_FB. If you're listening on Apple Pods or any podcast platform and you can drop us a review, that would be extremely helpful. We would appreciate that. And one thing we want to tell you about, it's actually really, really exciting for us. We have officially now made a way for our followers, our listeners to support us, to support the show.
Yeah.
You can now support us through Patreon, patreon.com/FantasyLandFam, patreon.com/FantasyLandFam. This is really just your opportunity to say, hey, I believe in Fantasyland. I love those guys. And the more people that support us, Badaki, the better content we can bring to you, our listeners, the Fantasyland fam community, and the more exclusive content we can give you, as well as getting to know you on a little bit more of a personal level. Patreon is, our opportunity to really build this community, and we would love for you guys to be a part of that. Hey.
Absolutely. We just want to give you more fun, exciting, exclusive fantasy football content, kind of just like what Zach said, not this year, but the years to come. Look, Patreon, let me just tell you that Patreon is not just supporting this fantasy football podcast, it's actually supporting everything else that we have envisioned throughout the years to come as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And look, there's so much more that like we haven't even told you guys that what we're thinking about. When you do support the show, we love that, and we have so many more ideas, not just in the fantasy football spectrum, but like I said, so much more.
Big things ahead. Monday Night Football, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to potentially have my heart broken because I need Zeke and I need a couple other players to perform not so well to win my matchups. But thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. We are so grateful for everyone who takes the time out to listen. And as always, we will see you on the next episode. See you there.
See you there.
Hey, yeah, you, the one listening to this podcast, you made a good decision today. Keep making those good decisions. You know what? Go ahead and do a little dance right now, like no one's watching. 'Cause you deserve it.